You are listening to Nerd Best Friends, a podcast that covers the nerdy conversations you're already having, or wish you could. It's the nerdiest thing you'll do this week.
This is Analese.
This is Rob.
And this is Dr. Intern Joan.
And we are your nerd best friends.
It's our annual holiday gift guide episode because nothing says love like a perfectly chosen nerd gift. This is Nerd Best Friends, where we celebrate the nerdy conversations you're already having or wish you were. We're your nerdy companions on a quest through cosplay, comics, D&D, pop culture chaos, and all things wonderfully weird. If you're loving the ride, hit subscribe, follow, or share this episode with your fellow nerds, because the algorithm needs a little nudge from the nerd herd.
This is episode 84, and the holidays are upon us, and that means one thing. It's time to flex your nerd cred in the name of thoughtful giving. We've sorted our picks into a few key categories so you can find exactly the right kind of geekery for your best friends, or subtly forward this to someone who's shopping for you.
Our Patreon supporters are getting an exclusive downloadable version of this year's Nerd Best Friends holiday gift guide made by Dr. Intern Joan. It's got clickable QR codes and takes you straight to our Amazon affiliate picks because we love making your nerdy shopping a little easier.
And just so we're clear, as Amazon affiliates, we may earn a small commission from qualifying purchases. It helps keep the mics on, the coffee flowing, and the chaos organized, mostly. So if you want the full guide, head over to our Patreon, join the nerd herd, and snag your copy.
So excited to have Dr. Intern Joan back with us again for another episode. Let's get to our nerd mail.
Nerd mail!
Last episode, or 2 episodes ago, we read Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. We had some Patreons live in the session, and
Yes,
I didn't get to read through all the comments. So listener Juliana wanted us to know that there are redheads in comics that have positive stories to them, such as Merida from Brave and Red Sonja, which Rob had to inform me who that was. So there are some redheads out there doing some good and not being stereotyped negatively.
Yes. Notice all ladies still don't have a list of redheaded dudes who are
in the episode. She mentioned Archie.
So
we do
Archie,
have Archie.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
But
we got Archie.
You're right.
All right. And so what I'm hearing is next year, Red Sonja, but you know what we could do? We'll do the Gail Simone Red Sonja volume. That'll be great. She's amazing.
All things you know about. It is new to us.
Exactly. Exciting. You know, this episode, we also have some Talk Nerdy to Me.
All right.
This Talk Nerdy to Me question is in line with our episode, the best fictional gift exchange. So which universe would host the best Secret Santa? Hogwarts, the Avengers Tower, the Shire, the Enterprise? What do you think?
Something else we haven't thought of?
Yeah. What?
Well, I mean, for me, it's going to be the Starship Enterprise or any cosmically, tangential thing, because you're going to get things from another planet, bro. That's where you want to be. It could be anything. Hey, here's this tabletop game. You've never seen it before because it's from another planet. Here's a bottle of, I don't know, Klingon blood wine. You've never seen it before because it's from another planet. All those kinds of things. I mean, I'm going big sci-fi utopia for gift giving for sure.
That would definitely be interesting. I think I would choose Hogwarts because you have magics. You have the ability to give these super magical, even trick gifts. It doesn't even have to be sentimental. And what they do in the actual books is actually really cool because they tend to be very meaningful gifts and purposeful. But I'm thinking in magic, like going to the magic store and buying something that makes their tum nung or something like that candy that they eat or something. It'd be kind of fun.
I don't want an owl. That's a mess. We talked about that before. You have to have an owl room and it's just full of owl pellets and
But then you won't have to go to Amazon to buy your owl poop.
That's true. I could provide my own, but I would have to go to Amazon.
You can actually sell it on Amazon and make a profit. You're welcome.
I'd have to be going to the pet store to buy mice and rats for the thing to eat so that they could then poop out the skeletons in their owl pellets.
Or
Pretty sure that's all magically handled. We don't need to worry about it.
No, it's not. I heard from a reliable source, Analese, that there's a special owl room at Hogwarts full of owl pellets and stank.
I don't know that I mentioned stank, but
It comes one and the same. Are you kidding me? A room full of owls barfing up poop?
I'm telling you, you would make a fortune in selling your owl poop to Amazon. So you're welcome.
Oh, man.
What do you got, Joan?
I'm going to side with Analese on this one. Hogwarts for me. There's also other magical worlds, A Discovery of Witches books, which are 4 books right now, full of magic and witches and tarot cards and runes and like magical items. That's the fandom I want to exchange gifts with.
Heck yeah.
I can see like having a magic wand that did something would be pretty cool. But I don't want like, oh, look, I got you a nice box of chocolates and then they turn into frogs.
Yeah, but then you get a trading card. Come on.
Okay.
I also don't want jelly beans that taste like vomit or boogers.
I feel like this is a landmine.
Those really
of bad
exist,
gifts.
though.
That's true.
Those really exist. They came from the Harry Potter.
Did they? I thought they existed
No, they had
before
those
then.
when we were kids.
Yeah.
You think? Okay.
Yeah,
There's a game called Bamboozled where you like spin a little wheel and it lands on a color and then you eat one of that color, but in the box it comes with the red one. You like say it comes up red. 8 out of the 10 of them are cherry and 2 out of the 10 of them are like vomit or something like that. They've existed for a long time before Harry Potter.
That's cool.
It's disgusting.
And
send in your deep thoughts, nerd questions, or talk nerdy to me subjects that you'd like us to cover by sliding into our DMs or send the topics to podcast@nerdbestfriends.com. Let's get to the gift
from another planet.
Yeah, they might like burn your feet off. Like no magic involved, but still horrible consequences.
No, there's snakes that just like eat your foot and now you just have soft snakes as feet. That's fine.
I mean, that would be kind of cool.
I was going to say that sounds awesome.
I might rather have chocolate frogs.
Me and Analese over here with our plantar fasciitis, all like, I could replace my feet with snakes? Let's go.
I'll slither around.
That's right. We'll be UNT.
So it's time for nerd gift giving. It's our guide. Are these things you want, things you recommend? You'll never know from us, but we're going to give you some hints and some tips and some holiday shopping.
Are these hacks? Are you promising life hacks?
No.
Where are you going with this?
Tips, tricks, and holiday gifts.
Oh, it's a rhyme.
Tagline.
Bam. All right. So the first category we did not do a top 5 list here, but our first category is board games or tabletop games. What do we got under this category?
I'm going to go first because mine is kind of a whole season item versus a gift you give on a holiday.
Okay.
I'm obsessed with advent calendars. You get to open one thing every single day. And the 2 that I find most intriguing that I have not received or given, one of them is a Clue advent calendar where over the span of 24 days, this is a family-friendly game. You open a clue, you get closer to solving it the closer that Christmas comes.
That's super
you
fun.
Solve the mystery. That is fun.
Solve the mystery, right? And then the other one is the brand, The Exit. I don't know. It's escape room.
Okay.
A brand.
Yeah, Rob, I gave you one. I gave you a Lord of the Rings one for your birthday. Like that
advent
little box.
Calendar?
No, the Exit brand escape room.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they make an advent calendar, similar vibe. You solve a mystery or you try to escape this thing over the course of the month of December. So advent calendars for me.
Now, I also love advent calendars, Dr. Joan. Now, I'm used to, like, from when I was a small child, we would have the advent calendar and it would have like the little like waxy chocolate in it that you'd open every day. And so as a kid, I would open the advent calendar the first thing in the morning and then have like chocolate before breakfast or whatever. And that was a big treat. Do you open your advent calendars in the morning first thing, like with the wonder of a small child? Or when is the right time for you to open your advent calendar?
You know, last year I bought myself a book lovers advent calendar. And so in the morning with my coffee, I'd open the little window and look at the little gift or whatever. But I imagine with one of these games, you'd open it at night, like as a routine with the family if you're going to play the game or whatever.
I see. As I was down there with you for like with your coffee, because I think I'm going to get myself one of those like whiskey advent calendars. And so first thing in the morning.
Yep,
you're a CTO now. You're C3TO. You can do whatever you want.
Right. That's right. I got to be like, oh my gosh. So we stopped because it just got too much, but we were watching Smallville, me and Andrew. And like, there's definitely the trope of like, every time you see Lex Luthor in his office, he's got to like walk over to his brandy or scotch crystal decanter and like pour a scotch. It's like, this dude is day drinking constantly in that office. It's like ridiculous. And sometimes in the story, we'll be like, wait a minute, is Clark on his way to school right now? Is it 7 a.m.? And that dude's drinking scotch? What is going on? So I was like, oh yeah, someday when I'm like a big shot executive, just be day drinking from my decanter constantly like Lex Luthor. No, that's a joke for anyone listening. That's a joke.
Well, I'm going to edit that part out. They're not going to know it's a joke.
Okay. That part you'll edit out.
Rob, what do you have? Board games and tabletop games.
I put a couple on here. One is a deck builder game. I really like deck builder games. We've had fun with the DC deck builders for years. It's such a simple mechanic and it just endless fun and lots of expansions. This is one called Hero Realms, and the rules are very much the same, except instead of, choosing a superhero or whatever, you choose your D&D class. So you can be the thief, you can be the fighter, you can be the cleric, whatever. And of course, on the bottom of the card, it says you get extra points for doing this at the end kind of thing based on the class. And then you put out the market and there's all kinds of, fantasy stuff. There's magic daggers and special shields and, magic potions and things like that you buy and go through. And it's really fun. The art is great. It's again, one of those deck builders. It's just like, keep it simple, stupid. You're going to sit down with your family and have a good time playing a fantasy card game type thing. And it's, highly recommended that. I love the art. They also have, because it's, kind of D&D adjacent, they have expansions with campaign mode where you go through and like you fight the monsters till you get the big boss. And there's like 4 or 5 big bosses. And at the end of each one, if you survive, you kind of level up. And so you start the next game with a couple magic items or something like that. So again, just one of those games you can play again and again and again. And it's lots of fun. The other one that I put on my list was something I talked about a few weeks ago. I think when we did the Portland episode that I picked up at Powell's Books. And that was Cairn 2nd Edition. And that is this little dense box with multiple players handbooks, DM's green, DM's guide, 3 adventures or something like that. It's just this little self-contained, again, kind of easy to get into low fantasy RPG. So if you've got somebody who's, they've played RPGs before and they want like an easy self-contained thing to get into without having to like drink from the fire hose of something like Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder, this is just a little thing. And if you're looking for a change and you're like, oh, I play D&D all the time and it's all this like very high fantasy, heroic things, and you want something low fantasy that's a little more like grimy and dirty, this is a great game, and what an excellent package they've put together with Cairn 2nd Edition. I will also mention that the new starter set is out for D&D. I don't have any experience with it. I don't have it. I probably never will. I'm way past needing a starter set, but it's there if you're like, cool, Dungeons and Dragons, where do I start? Good news. There's a new starter set out just in time for the holidays.
But you do know about the adventure it is, right? Because it's based off of one of the books?
Yeah, we were talking about how it is based on Keep on the Borderlands, which is a classic D&D adventure from back in the 80s, and there was a novel about it and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm sure it is great.
Hitting all the middle-aged people with the nostalgia of those books.
I think so. And, D&D kind of goes through these different ebbs and flows of popularity. And so with the refresh of the new edition, they're always looking for a couple of things. They're like, oh, what can we do for new players? We've got a free, basic rules set online, and our website has all kinds of resources you could get started. But also it's like, hey, remember that game you used to play when you were in your teenager years and now you're 50? You could jump right back in with something that's ready to go and shiny and new, but also familiar. They know what they're doing over there at Hasbro.
Hasbro. Is it still Hasbro?
Yeah.
I think so.
Wow. Okay. I have 2 recommendations on my list for tabletop games or board games. And the first one is Scream the Game. So obviously I'm a big fan of the Scream franchise. They came up with a tabletop game that's, it's got to be 3 or more players, I believe. But what's really cool, it's one of those that's also connected to an app. So you download the app and you set up all the parameters in the app, you set up your board, and it's pretty simple. You've got to collect these things, go to different parts of the original, since it's original based off the original movie. So you might go to Stu Macher's house or to the high school or to Sydney's house or whatever. You interact with the app when it's everybody's turn, and there are random times when Ghostface calls you. And it's pretty interesting because he might target a character, one of the players of the game. He might target a location and tells you how many of these different things you need to have in order to escape him basically murdering you. So the game doesn't end up being like a final girl situation where you have one person left. If someone dies, the whole game ends.
So it's very cooperative.
It's really interesting how they do it, and it's all a timing because it doesn't know where you are on the board. You don't have to click like where you are and give it any information. Just after so much time, you'll get a call, and it's really cool because it's Ghostface. It's the dude's voice. He recorded a bunch of stuff for it, so It's really fun. It's very fast-paced. It's a quick game. I played it with my stepkids. We got it a year ago. And I don't play it with just me and Sarah because you need at least 3 players. So when they're here, we'll play it. And it's like, no, you go, no, you go, no, you go, go. And like we're trying to figure out who has what items so we can try to keep each other alive. And I can't remember how you win the game, but we've equally won and lost games.
I see here that that's a Funko game. Yeah. Yep. And I also understand that they make good games. Like I've heard lots of glowing reviews about their board game line.
Yeah. This one's a very smart game. It's very intense. And it's fun.
Cool.
The second one, there is a whole series of Sherlock Holmes kind of solve the crime based off of some of the novels and stories. There's a set of 3 or 4 of them. One in particular looks really cool, and I haven't played it yet. I don't own it yet, but I plan on owning it soon. But I recommend the Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective series. The one I want and the one I've linked to in our gift giving guide is one that includes the case of Jack the Ripper, which is one of the things I've read a lot of books about. So that should be, it's a really cool game. I've watched demos of it being played. And it's one of those things where you have your like notepad and you get clues as you move across a thing and you can open certain things and try to solve the case before the game gets to the end. So they look really cool. And I love Sherlock Holmes. So.
I also like Sherlock Holmes, and I'm loving this, like the list title on Amazon. Don't forget to use our Amazon affiliate link. But the title listed on Amazon is Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective Jack the Ripper in West End Adventures Board Game. Captivating mystery games for kids and adults ages 14 plus 1 to 8 players, 90 minutes playtime, made by Space Cowboys.
Space Cowboys is one run-on sentence, but it's beautiful.
It's just one big title. And I love that it's like made by Space Cowboys because obviously that's a name of a company, but wouldn't it be funny if it was made by Space Cowboys?
Yeah, maybe they met Supergirl on her latest adventures.
There you go.
All right, next category we have the Nerd Room or Travel Essentials. So one, either or both.
Nerd Room at home or on the go.
If we go reverse order, I'll go first. I put a couple of things in here that are super cool. One are some coasters that are based and shaped like
those are
Nintendo
dope.
system. Rob just clicked on the link, by the way.
I just clicked on the link.
Would you like to describe them since you clicked on the link?
No, it's your choice. Sorry.
No, please.
God, that's so cool.
I mean, basically, they look like the old cartridges, but they're coasters for your Nerd Room. So they have the classic game like Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, Donkey Kong, Excite Bike, Mario 2, Mario 3, Legend of Zelda, the original Legend of Zelda, the OG with the gold label, and Meteoroid. So you can get this set of coasters that look like old NES games. The second thing I put is an electronics travel organizer, because I know we've talked in the past before about upping our nerd game as we travel. So I've talked about the different little mini devices that I'm taking, like the foldable thing that charges my watch and phone and earbuds all together. But then it's, how do you carry these things? It's not a lot to carry anymore because we've condensed, but can I put them somewhere where I can easy access them? Or if I'm trying to carry on my bags instead of check them, like how can I get easy access? So electronics travel organizer. And Rob, you got me one before that I really like, but it's not like enclosed. It's the Grit-It that you bought me once that I still use.
That board.
It's
yeah,
just
that thing's
flat.
cool.
Yeah, it's super cool, but again, it's not easy access because I've got to put it in a way so it doesn't get caught on other things.
Right.
But what I have found is having a travel organizer that's like maybe fanny pack sized, even though it's not a fanny pack. I can put it somewhere in my backpack real easy and pull it out when I get to a hotel or when I need to charge at the airport. Everything's right there, nice and organized. So an example of that, there's a link in your gift giving guide. And then I've talked a lot in Nerdiest Things recently of reorganizing the nerd room in the garage. And one thing I know Rob talked about a lot in previous seasons, and we both have an equal love of really useful boxes. All sizes, any sizes, they are amazing. They keep your stuff dust free in a really simple way, but they're also the way they're modularly stackable makes it really cool to be able to transport things and keep things good. So.
Because they're not tapered, so the footprint is the actual footprint. You get all the space, and they're perfectly stackable because they're square. Gosh, there is a company on Analese. I found this company, and I almost dropped thousands of dollars on them. Here's what they sell.
Okay.
They sell magnets, right? So think about like a sticky magnet sheet, right?
Yeah,
that you would put on the back of something to make a magnet. So it's a magnet sheet that is perfectly sized for a very useful box. And it's got designs on it. So it can look all cool and sci-fi, or it can look like a lava pit, or it can look like a green grass or whatever. And you stick it to the bottom of your very useful box. And then it also comes with a bunch of little miniature bases. And in the miniature base, at the bottom of it, there's a little hole that perfectly fits a little, rare earth magnet that you can glue in there.
Yes.
And then pop all your minis in this very useful box. They're stuck to the bottom, so you don't have to worry about like foam and all this stuff. And then stack them in your closet. Awesome. It comes with the magnets, comes with the bases, comes with the thing. European company that does it, and they do not ship to the United States. Sorry, Rob, you got all excited for nothing.
Oh no! You filled a cart and then saw.
I did. Wow. I had hundreds of dollars in the carts. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get one for this army, this army, this army. They're all gonna be themed. How many bases do I need? Got to get the magnets. Just dumping it all in, and then got to check out. Does not ship to the United States.
Dang. You know anybody in Canada? Not anymore. Now that the Dodgers won.
That's right. They wouldn't help me.
Oh, that's so sad.
Anyway, very useful boxes are super cool.
I
could do all the work to make those myself, of course, but like to have it just ready to go, it's not the same.
Wouldn't be the same. We are not sponsored by Really Useful Boxes. We would love to be. Reach out to us. Robert, what do you have for Nerd Room or Travel Essentials?
The first thing I said for your nerd room and for your traveling is power banks, right? Just a little block of a battery that you can plug your stuff into, because it happens every time you get to the D&D game. You're like, okay, well, I'm going to play the little background music on my phone. And you look down and your phone's at 21%. And it's like, oh, this ain't going to make it. Same thing with the computer, right? A lot of our modern things, we're using digital character sheets and digital like initiative trackers and stuff. And you're there for a session that's going to last a few hours. Are you going to like try to stretch a power cord across the table or like under people's chairs for them to trip on? It's like, it's so much nicer and handier to have a power bank. I linked one from Anchor. I've always had good luck with Anchor Electronics. At our house, in our nerd room, we have a drawer where all the power banks go. And on top of that drawer, on like the counter above that drawer, is a charger. So you use a power bank, you bring it back, you plug it in. Next time you walk by its charge, you put it right in the drawer. So when you need it, you know where it's at, and it works real good.
Yeah, super smart.
The next one I have is clear acrylic display risers. And this is for your cabinets and your display cases or whatever it might be, where you're going to put your collection of miniatures, of Funko Pops, of dice, of whatever. And they're just really simple shelves. And a lot of times they're nesting. So you get kind of a stepped approach, right? You have like a low, a medium, and a high, or even 8 different things. So you can kind of adjust that to fit the space you have perfectly. And what's great about it is because they're crystal clear, you can put stuff on every tier, but you can also kind of have stuff in the back under the big ones and see everything kind of through. So it's a way to get yourself some elevation for extra storage. And they do such a good job with that material being super, super clear that you can see the stuff in there from every little different angle. So I've got several of them in my display cases, and I will continue to use them. Very handy for your collection.
You can't print clear acrylic like that, right?
No,
yours is plastic.
It always comes out because of the layers. You can get clear filament, but it's not really. You still see all the layers and all the, it's foggy. Yeah. Dr. Joan.
Well, my nerd room is my library and cozy hobby room. So to me, leveling that up means getting a stand for my Kindle so that it arches over and I don't have to touch it. And then getting that Kindle remote control so that you can clip it onto your Kindle, and then you're in your cozy blanket or you're doing whatever, and you have this remote control that will change the channel or change the page for you.
I did not know this is a thing.
Neither did I. You are not touching your Kindle. You are not turning pages. You are drinking your cozy drink, clicking a little button that's wrapped around your wrist.
This is some Wall-E cruise ship action right here. You got like this little arm for your book, and you click a little clicker and it takes the page. It's amazing.
It is. And the one that I will link to is movable. It's not stationary, but I will put that in my bedroom. And my husband last winter, I'll have to post it, I guess, on the Instagram. My husband took a picture of me huddled in all my blankets in bed with the arm in my face so that you could a live action shot of me reading. But that's for any reader in the winter.
I did not know that exists. That's so cool.
Never heard of it before.
How does it anchor? Is it one of those things you like screw to the side of the table?
It has a metal stand, so you can move it around the house. So it's movable.
Nice.
Yeah. And then it has just a bendy arm with one of those sizes to your whatever size device you have.
So it's not just made for Kindles. It's just whatever device you have in front of you. That's cool.
I
Correct.
mean, this is useful for me, like, to avoid my nightly ritual of falling asleep, reading my iPad, and having it smack me in the nose every.
It absolutely is.
I mean, but that's
Get your
kind of
Kindle
funny,
stand,
though.
get your remote.
Funny for you.
You're right. So next category, fandom and flair, wearables, collectibles, decor, something that shows your nerdy style, starting with you, Dr. Intern Joan.
Yeah, I took a picture because I think these things are the coolest things I've ever found. So, see these little black strips on the side of my window?
Yeah.
As you can. They are thin corkboard strips, corkboard felt boards, and I put my enamel pen collection on them.
Okay.
So
That's cool.
outlining my window, and then that way my collection is displayed, but it's not out of the way, and it's not a big board that takes up wall space.
Does it
It's just a
stick
nice
in
little
like the jam, or does it stick on the glass? I couldn't really see the picture.
It sticks on the wall around
Okay.
it. So there's the
She framed the
jam,
window.
yeah, and I put
see.
it
Okay.
around the
Gotcha,
frame, but you could put it around anything you wanted to, really.
Uh-huh.
I didn't realize I had so many pins, and I thought, what am I going to do with these? I really love them. So
Very
display
cool.
your
That's a
pins.
thing. I mean, lots of people have a cool enamel pin collection.
I mean, Disney people do something different with theirs, I assume, but I don't want to talk about Disney people. Sorry, people out there. My
Do you
other
mean
one,
something dirty? What are you talking about?
I don't know. It's just like a cult fandom.
Yeah.
Disney
it's
pin
real intense.
collectors cult.
Real intense.
Real intense.
And then my second thing is that I like Legos. I don't like the idea of displaying them per se,
Okay.
but I got a fall centerpiece. I would say there's like orange and red flowers and like greenery. So I made this Lego display, but there's a way to hang it on the wall. So it's on our nerd wall. We have a gallery wall. And so I hung it up. I think that is a great way to display your art instead of just on a shelf if you're a Lego builder. So
That's a neat idea.
That is a cool idea because I also like Legos, but they take up a ton of shelf space,
Yeah.
depending on what you make. I've often had this, I think in my Amazon wish list cart thing for like 10 years now, is this great display case for the Lego Millennium Falcon, which I've never pulled the trigger on. So the Millennium Falcon's just sitting in a Tupperware bin. That's not what they're called. Like a Rubbermaid bin up in a closet somewhere. But hanging them sounds really cool.
You
Yeah,
could
and then-
hang the Millennium Falcon from your ceiling.
Yeah. I'm
Like it's in
scared it'll
flight.
fall down.
you got to glue it all
Rob,
together.
what
then.
are your... Oh,
What am I, the bad guy from the Lego movie? I'm not going to glue my Millennium Falcon together.
Okay, fine.
Rob, what's your fandom and flair gift ideas?
So I was looking, I think I probably scrolled through a social media ad or something and saw these little room projectors you can get. They're like the size of, I don't know, smaller than a bottle of wine kind of cylinder thing with like a little stand. And it's not just like lights that spin around or anything like that. It's like a projector, like you would use like a movie projector, but they don't short throw small. Somehow they're like 360-degree projectors, and there's all kinds of different scenes that you can get with these. A lot of times it's like stars, right? Just turn your room into just this giant starscape when the lights go out and you turn on this thing and have this ambiance. But I've also seen things where it's like, it'll turn your room into a tropical island. It'll turn your room into a, Star Wars planet or, whatever it might be. And sometimes if you get ones, I think the one I linked, you can get different cartridges. Like, remember, oh my gosh, what were those things called? The Master Vision things where you would put like a little thing, you put a little card in the slot and it changes what will display. So it's more than just, like flashy lights like you would have at like a party. It's like a projector. It like turns the room into a scene by projecting it in the dark. And I thought that was really cool. Like if you're in your nerd room playing video games or you're playing D&D or whatever, and you just sit there, you could have your background, your room be whatever. And I think that's a pretty cool vibe. Definitely a step up from like the Zoomer lights we always used, we were putting up 10 years ago in our game rooms. So yeah, a cool room ambiance projector is
Fits into the book world too. There's people on Bookstagram that put up like a snow scene or a quiet fall day or whatever the reading vibe is they want. So they're doing that too.
Makes total sense, right? You could be in the coffee shop, but in your little cozy nerd room without having to go anywhere. And what else? Oh, and then I was looking at, because it said like clothes and stuff. And I was like, I'm sure this already exists. Is like, imagine your fancy suit blazer, right? You guys doctors, you wear nice clothes. You got your fancy suit blazer. But what if, like you open up the blazer and there's always kind of like a silk lining or whatever. And it was like Superman logos or Spider-Man or something in there. Like it's kind of your secret, like, here's my secret nerd coat or whatever. I couldn't find that anywhere. I'm like, did I just invent this? Imagine your cool suit blazer, but on the inside lining, there's like superhero stuff there. So you can be like, oh yeah, I'm a nerd too. Nope. I could not find one.
Pretty sure it exists.
What? You found it that quickly?
Fun.com. We're all going to go there.
Sounds like a porno
They have
site.
Wonder Woman, Batman, vintage DC comic print.
You see this? I don't see this big.
I see they have a lot of stuff, but I'm looking for like the blazers.
Type in blazer in the
I
search
guess
bar.
Laser.
Laser.
Taser. Suits for men. Suits for women. Oh, yeah, there it is. Well, that has Monopoly. That has Jason Voorhees.
Oh, look at that. That's exactly what I was imagining in my mind. Like, you just kind of open it up and there's like a
Batman.
little thing in there.
Yeah, Rob, your dream is a reality.
Look at that. I was shocked that like I thought of an idea and nerds on the internet hadn't already figured it out. But guess what?
I think
They
a CTO needs a Lord of the Rings blazer.
Right?
My gosh, let me see what's the Lord of the Rings one like.
Although I was
Transformers.
imagining something less busy than what these are. Like the Batman one is just a bunch of like Batman.
Yeah, you can't even
like,
really tell what it
it's
is.
a mess, right? Like instead of just the logo. You imagine if you opened your blazer and it's just the Batman logo or one big Batman logo like the searchlight, right?
Look at the Lord of the Rings one.
Lord of the Rings.
But look
is
at
pretty cool.
now look at the sleeve. Did you catch the sleeve on the Lord of the Rings one? Has the inscription, like the font that's on the ring is around
does it?
the cuff. Yeah, look at that one again. It's pretty great.
That is pretty sweet though. Yeah,
Ooh,
they
the
exist, Rob.
ladies'
That was a great
blazer.
idea. We should have linked it onto our.
The Lady Lord of the Rings blazer is really cool too.
It's really cool.
It's got the moonlit doorway scene. Anyway, wow, there you go.
Great
Fun.com.
idea.
Great idea that somebody else had 10 years ago. Good for
So
me.
I have a couple things on mine real quick. I like the display cases like you're talking about, Rob, and some of those acrylic ones now also come with built-in LED lights. I'm a big fan. Instead of trying to figure out the lighting on my own, I'm happy to pop in a couple batteries on a display case and let them sit there for a long time on those batteries.
Ooh, this one you
But-
linked is nice.
The one I linked is pretty cool. Some of them are also space saving in a way, so feel free
They're
to roam
stackable.
around. Yes, and they have built-in lights, so you don't have to worry again about figuring it out or where do you need to put the lights in order to illuminate the figures. They've done that math for you. You just got to get them. Second
I'm
on my
ordering this
list
today.
is something I know Dr. Intern Joan and myself both have, but Dr. Intern Joan has like a 6-foot tall one in her living room. I just have like a little 3 shelf of this. It's called a tree bookshelf. It just looks like it's a bookshelf, but looks like a tree kind of, not with the leaves and all the branches, but each branch is like a different shelf to put books on. And then it looks like a tree. So they're pretty cool.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
there's
I've
some
seen these.
giant ones.
Okay.
But I have one that's maybe 1.5 feet tall that's on top of my cabinet here. Joan has like a 6-foot one in her house. Everything looks 6 foot to me, so it might not be that big, but
I was going to say, it's like 4 feet maybe. It's like 4.
I thought it
4.5
was taller than
maybe.
me. Maybe the books just went taller than me.
Yeah, the books, there's definitely a lot of books.
Those are pretty cool. And then the last one on my list should be no surprise to anyone. Back to the LEDs, because I think they're so fun to have in your nerd room. You can order a custom LED sign to put in your nerd room. Dr. Intern Joan has one. She's pointing to it on her camera right now.
Right, look at that.
Yeah, you can do some pretty custom things. I've looked at pricing out a Nerd Best Friends one just for fun. Haven't pulled that trigger yet, but get a custom LED light. It's so much better than like your super bright overhead sometimes, especially when you're gaming or watching a movie in your nerd room or whatever. But custom LED sign, I think, is a good buy.
I gotta pause right here because I am having so much fun listening to these suggestions and clicking the links to actually see them. And I'm sure the listener would want the exact same experience. Dr. Intern Joan, can you remind listeners how they get the clickable links to all of these fun things?
Absolutely. You have to join the Patreon at either level, and you will get a holiday gift guide with the QR codes that'll take you straight to these things we're talking about so you can re-listen and follow along with us.
Perfect. I love it. Time to pony up, friends. Okay, who's next?
We'll keep going reverse order, so I'll go first on Story World Escapes, books, graphic novels, or series that deserve a holiday binge. Should be no surprise, these 2 recommendations for me if you've not taken them in past episodes. However, with the release of the Long Walk movie this calendar year, the Bachman books have made a little bit of a resurgence, so they should be pretty easy to find. The Bachman books are 4 novels that were written and released. Well, there's a few more, but the 4 main ones were released in the 70s and 80s, written by Stephen King under the pen name Richard Bachman. They are The Long Walk, The Running Man, Rage, and Roadwork. Now, Rage will not be on any list because Stephen King pulled it from the shelves in the 90s due to, it's a story about a young man who shoots his teacher and holds his class hostage. And sometime in the early mid-90s, a couple of school shooters had a copy of the novel with it highlighted and written in and stuff. So Stephen King decided to take that off the shelf. So you have to find an older version of this collection in order to read Rage. However, The Long Walk, The Running Man, and Roadwork are all very good books, and I highly recommend if you have a book nerd who has not read them, it would be a great gift for them this holiday season. And the second is for any of your true crime friends who maybe haven't watched the Showtime show Dexter or have never read the books. The Dexter series by Jeff Lindsay, starting with Darkly Dreaming Dexter, is the parallel book to season 1 of the show. And then the series has, I think, 7 more books, and they go in different directions between the show and the books. But the books are great. Starts with the first one. Your true crime friend who has seen the television show might really enjoy them.
I have a question. How close to the silly Arnold Schwarzenegger movie is the Running Man book?
Okay, I've not seen the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Never
It is bonkers. It is definitely one of those like cocaine-driven 80s movies with just over-the-top zaniness.
Yeah, so I've heard pretty much that description, which is why I've not seen it. But I have read it, and there is a new version coming out. So I'll be interested in seeing the new version, and maybe it'll inspire me to watch the 80s version.
Probably not. You could just skip it. Oh, man. Okay, that is to me. So I've really got this idea of like this binging, right? Because this is what you do in the wintertime. The weather sucks, and you got that, you're cozy. What are we going to do tonight? Well, we're not going to go outside. So what are we going to watch, right? That's always the question. So I put a list of a few things to watch on here. I didn't do any books this time. I recommend a lot of books. Hey, go back in and any of the book club things we've done. If you haven't gotten to those, perfect wintertime activity. The first show that I put that I think is bingeable was The Legend of Vox Machina. And what this is, so there's Dungeons and Dragons, right? And one of the things that made Dungeons and Dragons very popular over the last 10 years is the live play Critical Role, which is a group of voice actors who play Dungeons and Dragons for 4 hours a week, every week, and they stream it and you can watch it on YouTube, etc. And it's great, but it is a ton of content. It is literally thousands of hours of content. And there's ways you can kind of get things abridged or whatever, but it's so successful and they are so popular that they, being voice actors and kind of being in that world, they kickstarted their own animation company and went back and they told the story of their first campaign through great animation. And of course, they do all the voice acting of their characters and all this stuff. So it's like beautifully produced and tells that story in like 2 seasons of a show. So if you've ever been interested in that whole thing that exists out there with Critical Role and you're like, how are these people who play D&D on the internet making millions of dollars from this or whatever? Like, do I need to know about this? This is the way you can know about this. It tells the story in a very straightforward animated way with great voice acting and stuff. Don't get fooled though. It is not for children. It is very sweary and has a lot of violent and sexual content in it. The next one is Ahsoka. Ahsoka is one of these Disney television shows that came out, and it follows the story of Ahsoka Tano from the Clone Wars. And that is a character that didn't exist in the trilogies. You won't find Ahsoka in any of the 9 mainstream movies, but she was a huge part of the whole Clone Wars saga that happens between, episodes 2 and 3 or whatever it is, when General Kenobi and General Skywalker, and she's the Padawan of Skywalker, and she's in every single episode and all this stuff. She got a series starring Rosario Dawson, and it's fantastic. Like, don't sleep on it. I remember being like, oh yeah, these are kind of hit and miss. This one was a hit. And if you kind of were skipping these because you're like, I heard they weren't very good. I watched Acolyte and I'm like, what the heck's going on? Like, Ahsoka's a cool one. It's good.
Rob,
yeah.
I do think the voice of the cartoon version of Ahsoka is heard in that whole all of the Force coming together for Rey in episode 9.
Yes, I would say
so
that.
I do think there's one vocal appearance of Ahsoka in the original Star Wars.
100%. You actually me on that one. The next one is one I know I've talked about on this podcast a ton of times because I absolutely love it. It's the coolest high fantasy show on television. It is Dragon Prince. Dragon Prince on Netflix it's great for the family. It's an awesome epic storytelling. I just saw a little while ago, they are kickstarting a final chapter to this show. Like, it kind of ended, but now they're going to do another season called Dragon King. And it looks amazing, and I'm absolutely going to back it. Whatever level I have to back it to get the little plush bait lizard, that's where I'm backing. I gotta have it. It's fantastic. So lots to binge there, and so good. And the other one, last one, number one, final recommendation is also a Netflix show, and this is Arcane. Arcane is the coolest. It is also like a 3D animated thing. It's steampunk, fantasy, magic, tech awesomeness. Like the art style alone is so inspiring that I have literally I'm painting miniatures in the vibe of Arcane because I love the colors and things so much. The music is incredible. Oh my gosh. If you love emo girl music, my God, it's just full of bangers. The soundtrack is incredible. Story's amazing. It's gritty. It's touching. It's awesome in every way. It's one of those shows where it's like every single scene that was animated for this show was done super purposefully, from style to cinematography to the acting to the music. It's just perfect. Can't recommend it enough. So that's a big list of things that you could watch when you're sitting there in the winter and it's getting dark early and you're like, oh, what are we going to watch tonight? Rob's got you covered.
I can't remember if you mentioned it. Are they all on the same streaming service? I imagine Ahsoka's on Disney.
Ahsoka's on Disney Plus. Legend of Vox Machina is on Prime Video, and Dragon Prince and Arcane are both on Netflix. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if you have kids that are on Christmas break, or you're on Christmas break because you work in a school, there's even more opportunities for binging.
Mm-hmm. And if that's your situation, God, Dragon Prince would be so cool to watch with your...
Right. For me, it's Harry Potter is a yearly revisit. My husband and I, starting Thanksgiving weekend, we watch a movie a weekend. We appreciate the art, not the artist. This year, I'm going to attempt a book a week to follow us reading. I don't know if that is a realistic thing because I also have other reading goals. But I know the books are so much more. They're up here. That's why I'm looking up. The books are can be so much different in places. I want to remind myself of those things. And then.
So you're saying you're going to watch the movie and then read the book?
Yeah.
That week?
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Let's see what happens.
I believe
think 1, 2, 3 you've got.
For sure, because they're smaller.
It'll get a little bit harder, 4, 5, and 6.
We will see. But
yeah.
Audible has already released the first Harry Potter book, full cast reading on Audible. So it's a month they're releasing a full cast reading. Not original actors, but still pretty cool. And that could substitute for rereading a book.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Like that.
Yeah. It's like an old-timey radio show, right? We're just going forward with technology, but backwards with style. Feels so good.
So good. I love it.
My my reading binge, it's called the Winter Night Trilogy by Catherine Arden. It's just a good, rich winter fantasy, historical fantasy inspired by Russian folklore and medieval history. There's this young woman that has a rare ability to see and speak with household spirits and ancient beings. And so in the book, the Christian gods fade and she connects and wants to bring all of the old Russian folklore forward and have that be what exists. And so it's her fight with good and evil throughout the 3 books. Those are fantastic.
That sounds awesome.
Cool.
And these look great. They are very highly rated and I don't know that I've ever seen or noticed a book that has 109,882 ratings and it's a 4.5 stars.
Wow.
Apparently I need to read this book.
Absolutely. Great
Very
Christmas
cool.
reading.
All right. Well, we have the final category is level up your nerddom, tools, experiences, anything to expand your hobbies, nerd room, yourself. Starting with you, Dr. Intern Joan.
How can I upgrade myself to be nerdier? I don't know. But
try to read all the Harry Potter books at the same time you're watching the movies?
Check back in with me. I am a big paper planner person, and over the last year have combined kind of scrapbooking into that. So I'll take a blank page and put things from our cruise on the page. And so all of the accessories that come with that. So I am a fan of these midliner markers. One side is a highlighter, and then the other side is a felt tip. Okay. All the colors. They have from neon to dark to jeweled tones, all those things. Love those.
The highlight color matches the pen color. Like your green is your green and your yellow is your yellow. Okay, cool.
Same. And if you want to level up, you can get a matching set of colored pens so that when you write in the color, you can highlight in the color, and they offset each other. It's like a nice contrast. But this is that's a whole other thing.
Leveling
Midliner pens by Zebra, I think is the company.
Sure.
Zebra. I don't know. My other one, any planner for me, you can't do without washi tape. I'm sure you've seen all of them. This is just a little bit of my collection.
My goodness.
That's a big old box of washi
Oh my
tape.
goodness.
Colors. We got
Love
this is thin, this is thick. These are my book ones. These are my celestial ones. Yeah, you got any kind of theme washi tape you can imagine. It's like painter's tape. Like you can easily remove it and stick it back down. But it's a good
washi
good
tape
page accent for anything.
Yeah. It's so handy. You just need something to look a little different. Like it's especially handy, like for kids. You need to I need this lunchbox to look different than this other lunchbox. The washi tape would go a long way.
It is. And here is an example of I have washi tape on the top and bottom and then separating my to-do lists for each day of the week. So lots of things you can do with it.
Very cool.
Part of your planning and organizing. I love it.
Good old washi
What about you, Rob?
Speaking of note taking, I do a lot of my note taking. Well, I'm kind of weird. I always have a pad of paper next to me to like just write down thoughts to keep me engaged in meetings and conversations that I'm having. But for my gaming sessions and taking those notes, I like to do it on a tablet. And I usually I'm an iPad guy and I got the Apple Pencil and I do it. A lot of people don't like that. They don't like the feel of the slippery glass when they're writing. And certainly my handwriting when I'm on the glass of an iPad sucks, right? It just looks bad. So one of the things that I've seen, if you still like that digital note taking, you still want the option to like cut and paste stuff or transform your handwriting into type or those kinds of things, is the Remarkable digital notepad. And these are great. They're the e-ink, right? Like your Kindle, and you write on them with the stylus, and they have like just a little bit of a texture to them that's not super smooth glass. So it gives you that paper-like feel. And then it's got all of the different features on it as well that a digital notepad would have, as far as like you can make different like notebooks and drag stuff over, and you can keep things organized. You can turn your handwriting into text if you want for easy reading, but you can also do all your doodling and stuff. So it's got all those kind of digital features, but it's not shiny, like light in your face. It's that e-ink, and it's got that like nice, good texture. They're really, really cool. The other thing I noted was, if you've got a friend in your life who's curious about miniature painting, I will say the Army Painter Company does an incredible job with their starter sets. They understand, in my opinion, there's a ton of different companies out there making acrylic paints and brushes and these kinds of things. But Army Painter really gets it. They're like, hey, we totally understand. You got a set of miniatures, or you saw something at the store and thought, oh my God, this is so cool. And you bought it, and now you don't know what to do. Guess what? Here's a starter set that gives you everything you need to get your minis painted and on the table and looking pretty good. Everything always comes with a starter brush or two. Every product comes with like a very easy to read, nice, like getting started pamphlet inside. They do the best job, and they're one of the most affordable entry points as well. So you can't go wrong. And there's different levels. You can get your $20 starter set, or you can get a $100 starter set, depending on who you're getting that gift for. And then the last thing would be a Roll20 subscription. Now, I was originally thinking about our Dungeons and Dragons games, and we use the digital character sheet on D&D Beyond. D&D Beyond is their like website where you can do all your encounter building and build your character and all this kind of stuff. And they offer it for free. And I think you can make 5 characters without a subscription. But with a subscription, you can make unlimited characters. You can run games. You can import all your books. You can do all this stuff. They don't offer a gift option. Isn't that weird?
That is super weird.
Yeah, because I would totally like, you know what? We've got D&D players that are not, like, some of them are young, they're in college or whatever. It's like, oh, I could throw them a subscription for our games and have some fun. No gift option. You can't gift D&D Beyond. But you can gift, and Roll20 is the platform where we do all our maps and move our minis around, and you can have your macros for your dice rolling. You can do the video call and stuff right in there. It's a good platform. They do sell gift subscriptions, and that's just one of those things, like if you know your gaming group, you're going to be using this year after year after year, and somebody's paying for it, you could gift them a subscription, and they'd be able to keep floating that year.
Hey, I wanted to mention, you were talking about the note-taking tablet.
Yeah.
One of the assistant principals at my school, he found a skin or cover for his iPad that was still pretty clear so you could read and do all the things, but it had just that little bit of texture so that when he uses his Apple Pen, it feels like paper. And he says he loves it. I haven't seen it. I haven't looked it up. But for those who may not want a whole extra tablet, they do have some tools that might be able to transform your iPad or other device.
I have seen those, and I've wondered about them. And the thing that I've wondered about is I don't primarily use my iPad for note taking. I primarily use it to like watch stuff or read stuff, so I like that crystal clear glass feel for 90% of the things I do. So it's like, how is that gonna?
I have not used it, practice it on his iPad, but what I will say is, like, have you ever had one of those privacy screens on your phone or your iPad where the people next to you couldn't see? So you can just tell that there's like a film on it, but it doesn't. I mean, you have to turn your brightness up a little bit more, but otherwise it doesn't affect your viewing. That's what his iPad screen looks like. Kind of like that. If you don't mind, there's something there. It is not as bright and clear that it is with nothing or with a clear cover, but it is there.
Very cool.
And also I want to second your Army Painter starter set thing. I have very much enjoyed as a person newer to the hobby, like those little booklets. They're very thoughtful. And they not only tell you this is the paint you use for this and this is the brush we recommend, but why? Because this color should go on first because of this reason and the pigment and this and it doesn't make it a super thick little book, but I've really liked the stuff that they put in their starter sets.
I'm just so impressed with that company time after time. All right, Analese, what you got?
All right, I have a couple of quick things that I have really enjoyed. One of them is sneaker or shoe storage. And I don't mean those things that you can hang in your closet and they have the little pockets, because if you're like me and you have a big wide foot, those pockets break all the time. In this case, and you don't also need to be a sneakerhead that you want to display. However, there are some of these cases that have built-in LED lights that you can display your Nike collection in if you want. Mine are not that fancy. They are plastic. I had to put them together when I got them. My shoes have to go sideways because my foot's too big to have them go in just sitting upright, but it keeps my shoes from getting dusty. It keeps them nice and clean. And so I recommend a sneaker or shoe storage for your closet, whether you want to display or not. It's been really cool. And I think keeping my dress shoes nicer for a little bit longer.
That makes sense, yeah. They're not getting
I'm also a big
crushed
fan. I have a
dirty.
small whiteboard that I've put up in the office or my nerd room to remind myself of things. And I'm just a big fan of being able to be organized. And, you can put your to-do list on a little whiteboard. You can get a whiteboard that's got a corkboard combo and put up some stuff, but helping in that organizer realm, helping to organize my brain when I'm in the nerd room. I recommend a small whiteboard or something for you to keep track of your nerdy needs. And then the last one, because I've never owned a home, I have only rented apartments and homes. I like to do things that don't create a lot of work for me upon moving out. And one of those things are called monkey hooks. I love these things. They can hold up to 200 to 600 pounds. And what they are is they're like a curved hook that has a little pointy edge. And so you've got to find a place that actually doesn't have a stud, and you just pop them in the wall and you turn it so that the hook goes up against the inside of the wall. And so then it has a little piece that sticks out to the outside. It barely sticks out at all. And then you can hang very heavy things on these monkey hooks. And then when you remove them, the hole is like a little bit bigger than a thumbtack, but not as big as putting a nail in the wall. These things are amazing. I've used them since my first apartment in college. I've had them for 30 years. And not the same ones, obviously, but
I've never seen these before.
If you're experiencing this, none of you will experience this like I am. Both Rob and Joan are just sitting with their jaws dropped. If you've never heard of monkey hooks before, then I'm blowing minds right now.
Yes.
What? They're amazing.
My method is I make multiple holes in walls until I get it right. I don't believe in measuring. But to avoid that, I moved to Velcro hanging strips. But those could damage the wall, too, if you don't pull them off right.
Once you pull
and they don't hold hundreds of pounds. How does this hold?
Don't. Exactly.
It's insane.
Very heavy artwork I have with one of because you can get the variety pack. I think the one I linked is a variety pack.
Yeah.
And you have one that can go up to 600 pounds. And that one does leave it's thicker metal. So it does leave a nail size hole, but still I don't use very many of those big boys. I use the smaller ones for stuff hanging in this nerd room right now.
You have been
and
holding
it's so
out
much less to spackle and fix, and smaller holes if you have to make multiple.
Good job saving the best for last. I'm blown away.
They're cool. I recommend them for everybody.
Yeah.
Game changer. The only thing I
Game
haven't done with
changer.
them, for the same reason, Joan, if I have something that needs 2 hooks, I will just use regular nails because it's so much easier to level that out than the monkey hooks. So that's the only caveat. If you have something with 2 hooks, I can guarantee you right now, this Belladonna album by Stevie Nicks is being hung by 1 monkey hook right now, this very second.
Yeah.
And that's our nerd giving guide.
Incredible.
We did it.
Since Dr. Intern Joan is back with us for another episode, let's start with you. What's the nerdiest thing you did this week?
I am so excited. My friend had her birthday on the 22nd, and I made her a present. I haven't made presents in a very long time, so this kind of reinvigorated my creativity. I wanted to get her an advent calendar, as we talked about in this episode. I love advent calendars, but her birthday is November 22nd, so how do I give her a gift from her birthday that will last until Christmas? I found a Christmas rom-com that has that many days of chapters, and I printed out the November messages. I printed out personalized messages for each day, and I wrapped each section of the book myself and created each little section. And then for Christmas, I printed out advent calendar stuff, and I wrapped up each little section for her so that every day from November 22nd to 12/24, she has 1 chapter to read of this book. It's very fun.
That's so nice. That's great.
That is amazing.
And so thoughtful and fun and different. Not different, unique.
How fun. What about you, Rob? What's the nerdiest thing you did this week?
Okay, so I'm going to go with, there was a conversation we were having with people about Star Wars. Shocker. And we were talking about, there's plenty of companies that make Star Wars miniatures, and there is a Star Wars miniature tabletop game. But it's not very good. I don't know anybody who really loves it, but there's Star Wars miniatures, and that's cool. And you can get them from all over the place. I have a bunch of Star Wars miniatures from a Star Wars miniature board game that I got. I'm not super interested in playing that board game. What I really want is a cool miniatures agnostic game that has kind of that legally distinct Star Wars vibe to it, so I could use these miniatures. And I found one, and it's called Star Breach. And it has been out of publication, and the company doesn't exist anymore for a number of years. So no problem. You can get the PDF for free. All good, which I have. And I'm reading through it. I'm like, yes, this is perfect. You can make a Jedi army. You could make a Rebels army. You could make an Empire army. This is it. This is what I want. I'm going to use my minis for this. So nerding out about that, I was searching to see if I could get this book. I did find one on eBay, but of course it's very expensive. So I was like, I wonder if I could just make it. I have the PDF. So I went and and this will show my age. I tried to go to Kinko's to make a copy, but that also doesn't exist anymore. So I went to FedEx and planned it all out with the spiral bound and all this kind of stuff. Turns out making a book out of a PDF costs $70. I was like, well, forget that. I'll just get the real one on eBay. But also, one thing about this game that kind of sucks is it has proprietary dice. It was made with the idea of they're going to sell you the book, and along with the book, you get dice that are sets of D6s, and the D6s have different symbols on them that you put on the table representing what the miniature is doing and this kind of thing. Well, dang it. What am I going to do about that? So I hit the internet and started finding used game stores and old game stores. And sure enough, somebody in St. Louis had the proprietary dice with the cool symbols on it. I got 2 sets in different colors. So one player can have one and the other player can have another. And I'm ready to rock and roll and paint up some Star Wars minis.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
How fun.
Awesome.
All right. Analese, what's the nerdiest thing you did this week?
So a couple episodes ago, I talked about the What Are You Doing episode. I talked about how I was practicing my trumpet because I was going to go march with a former student. Well, it happened last weekend, and it was a lot of fun. Good game. Can't complain. It was a midday. It was a 12:30 kick on a Saturday. Beautiful weather in Southern California. And, I'm still limping and in pain from being an old person marching, but, I survived, and also it was an honor. I really do want to be retired from marching, though. I can't
imagine going back to do that. I would never. So good for you.
I've stayed with my performing roots since I became a band director for a long time. So it's not like it was a total reach for me. But yeah, I feel like closed circle. And it was really fun to see my student. And, you know, that's why we're educators for moments like that to be able to share with kids. So next week, we're checking in on our 25 for 25 goals. What's thriving, what's surviving, and what's been quietly abandoned in the pile of good intentions. Or like Rob likes to call it, the pile of shade.
The pile of opportunity.
Join us as we reflect, recalibrate, and maybe roast ourselves just a little in the next episode of Nerd Best Friend. Before you go, hit that follow or subscribe button. Drop us a 5-star rating if you're feeling the nerd love, or find us on social media at Nerd Best Friends, or email us at podcast@nerdbestfriends.com. Help us grow the nerdhood and keep the geeky goodness rolling. Go get your holiday shopping done. Perfect time to tell you guys okay?
I gotta figure out what my nerdy thing is.
I felt like I was stammering because you were both just sitting.
No, I'm like blown away. It's like this little tiny hanger wire, and you're like, yeah, it was 100 pounds on the wall. What?
I heard the clicks as soon as I said that because y'all didn't believe me.
Some kind of like
so good
crazy physics going on here.
And I think that I've seen those, but until someone tells me they work, I wouldn't know. So
yeah,
right.
Yeah.